I am pathologically incapable of not changing recipes, even ones that already want to cook off. Come join me and see what I've done to this chili. Look quick, here are all the ingredients. I'll list them on the screen. You can pause. First, I'm crushing 3 tablespoons of garlic. It can be more, that's fine. I'll chop 4 green onions. I'll chop up the white part and put that into the chili. The green part gets chopped up and set aside for garnish. You want to dice the sweet onion. I'm using a mandolin, and by the way, I'm also wearing chemistry lab goggles because onions are no fun to cut, but I'm going to get these down to as small as I can, and then they go into the pot. Dice 2 poblano peppers, but remember to remove the seeds first. Now I'm measuring out a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon of Ancho chili powder, a tablespoon of paprika. This is sweet paprika, not smoked, but smoked is fine if you prefer it, and a tablespoon of cumin. I'm also going to add roughly a half a tablespoon or more of coarsely ground, freshly ground white pepper. Over a medium-high heat, and a sploosh of avocado oil in this case, and no, I did not measure it, I never do. I'm adding the whites of the green onions, the garlic, and the onion, and I'm going to saute them until they are not quite brown, but at least translucent and starting to look good. I'm also adding the poblano peppers. I want to soften them before I add in the spices. Once they've softened a bit, you're going to add in all of the spices you set aside, and you're going to cook them in the oil and in with the onions and the peppers to wake up and bring out the flavors of those spices prior to adding the ground beef. You're not seeing that here because I hit record but didn't verify that it was actually recording, so my bad, sorry. Once the onions and garlic and seasonings and peppers have all browned or softened and become translucent, you will add your ground meat. It can be whatever kind you want. In this case, I am using a hand-ground brisket that I ground with my KitchenAid. It makes a slightly chunkier ground meat. And I like the flavor of brisket, so that's what I'm using. I add in a 28-ounce can of fire-roasted crushed tomatoes and give it a stir before adding in 2 cans of pinto beans. Nothing against kidney beans, but I prefer pinto beans in chili. However, if you want to use kidney beans, then go ahead. Add in half a cup of water, bring it up to a boil, and then you're going to want to cover it and let it simmer, reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. After simmering for 30 minutes, you're going to add the tomato paste and stir it in. You're going to let it thicken a little bit, let the tomato paste incorporate. I always also add in another teaspoon of chili pepper, another teaspoon of paprika, and a half a teaspoon of cumin at this point. Then I will cover it up and let it simmer for another half an hour. Chili is always better on the second day, but I can't wait. So I have turned off the heat. I'm serving myself up a bowl, and I'm going to put some shredded cheese and a little bit of sour cream on mine. No onions this time, and give it a try. This is one of those recipes that my niece loves, and holy crap, it is genuinely just so good. I have yet to give it to somebody who didn't ask for seconds, even the cranky 8-year-old.